Jeremy, that steak was absolutely incredible. I know you've got something with pork coming up here, so tell our viewers a little bit about this.
Yes, sir. Today we're going to be demonstrating how to make a Jagerschnitzel, which is pork loin pounded out with a mallet, breaded and deep fried.
And I know we need to remind all of our viewers, everything here is hand cut. So these great pieces over here that we're going to use were hand cut from this earlier, right?
Yes, sir. And they come from a loin of the pork, which is located on the back of the pig.
So we're ready to go?
Yes, sir.
So you start us out here, because I can't wait to get it that hammer.
So I will demonstrate how to do the first one, and I'll let you go from the rest.
Cool.
And the key to this is you want to ensure that you keep your mallet flat. You don't want to hit to the side. You want to keep your mallet flat, and at the same time you want to try to push out as you're hitting. You want to push out to spread out the loin. And the purpose of the plastic is to stop the juices from splattering out. That way you're not contaminating everything with pork juice.
Gotcha. That's great. It doesn't take very long to do this, does it?
No, it doesn't take very long. It takes a little bit of force, and you want a nice flat pork loin. Therefore, it can be pan fried very easily.
Well, let me get at this.
So I'll let you go ahead.
I'm gloved and ready to go. So I put it down here. Well, while I'm doing this, one of the things I've noticed in here is you have different colored cutting boards for almost everything. What's the purpose of that?
The purpose of the cutting boards, we separate them to divide beef, pork, chicken, and seafood.
So that would be a good thing to have at home too, right? And remember that, so you're not mixing things as you go along.
And necessarily at home, you don't have to have 5 different cutting boards at home. The one thing you want to make sure is that you're properly sanitizing. So next we're going to jump into making the cabbage. And from here, as you've seen, I removed the core of the cabbage. There's also a center core. If you see, the core runs up right along there, right in there on both ends.
And we want to get rid of that?
So we want to get rid of that because it sticks together. It's really, really tough. So you want to make a V cut right there to remove that. And
now that's interesting the way you're doing this, because if I were doing it at home, I probably would have made the cut with the cabbage facing this way. So is there a reason that you do it the other way, just easier to cut?
I do it this way, therefore it's more balanced, because if you're doing it this way, you're trying to cut something that's rocking, opposed to something that's flat and more balanced, less rocking, therefore it's knife safety skills, basically.
Just easier to cut, right?
And from there, then all we're gonna do is chop it up, and it depends on, you can chop it very thin or thick, depends on however you like your cabbage. But we're just going to chop it up really nice.
In this case, we're going to chop it fast, right? Thin, thick, and fast.
Yes, sir.
That's great. You know, I think that's another thing that's important here at Fat Squirrel is all your vegetables, everything is fresh. You make your sauces from scratch, right? You do everything from scratch. So there really isn't anything that comes out of a box, is there? You do it all.
No, there's nothing that comes out of a box around here. We do a lot of it from scratch. It's a lot of intensive labor, but it's what makes our job pleasurable, and it's what we live for.
In the end product, it's very, very noticeable. So what else do we need to do?
Yes, sir. So next step, we're going to separate this over here into a bowl. And the next step we're going to be doing is dicing up an apple. In the restaurant, we have a core, which we remove the core from the top, discard of it. We remove the bottom as well, and then you'll cut it in half.
And at home, if we don't have one of those handy-dandy little devices, we can just cut it in squares, right, around the core.
Yep, and you can cut around the core in 4 pieces, and I can also demonstrate that. From here, as we remove the core of it, then we're going to
slice them again, huh?
We're going to dice it up.
And you didn't cut all the way through at the other end. Is there a reason for that? Just makes it easier to cut?
The reason for not cutting all the way through is to hold it together. Therefore, when you're trying to dice it, it doesn't fall apart on you.
So then what's the next step after we have all of this diced? We're going to mix all of this together?
So when we get the cabbage, next step you want to do, you want to get about 2 slices of bacon and chop those up as well.
And that's We're going to do the 2 slices. We'll do that in a minute, but you're going to do the 2 slices of bacon, and that's not cooked, right?
Raw bacon,
Raw
yes,
bacon?
sir.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to add that raw bacon. We're going to start sauteing that raw bacon, get it cooked up. We're going to add the apples. We're going to add the cabbage, and we're going to add a little bit of apple juice and braise it in the apple juice for about 15 minutes. And there comes out our smoky apple cabbage.
Well, let's go back to the kitchen, and we'll do that.
Awesome.
Oh, I love Fat Squirrel. They have a great beer selection, and it's a nice, quiet place to come in the afternoon with your friends and have a cold pint of beer.